A mix of high-detail 2D and 3D with a gothic horror fantasy that invokes Bloodborne and Castlevania. Let's see if there's anything good shaping up with Vigil the Longest Night in my first impressions of this open beta. If you follow around the blog and channel Alpha Beta Gamer, you might have seen this already, and the art style was enough for me to look into getting a key for this beta weekend. I didn't bother to look too much more into trailers or footage because I knew I'd want to try it for myself, especially when the developers spoke of eldritch horror with a dash of Castlevania and Salt and Sanctuary. Using Unity for its engine, it sticks to a 2D plane with drawn animated assets, while your character is a 3D sprite made to fit in better with the surrounding artwork. Designs get very macabre, and the live 2D effect works well on larger boss monsters, while Layla's 3D model looks very smoothly animated during the attacks. Just ignore any major hiccups you might be seeing on this video, as it's an issue with my recording and rendering. It ran a lot better on stream, I promise. Beyond that, the game could use some UI cleanup as a lot of the text was untranslated, and some UI elements overlapped each other or were rendered unreadable by getting cut off. Music fits the atmosphere as well, though instrumentation goes wild in its volume levels, swelling to intense volumes. The title theme that's the backing track for this video is a definite example that I'll have to adjust so I'm not shouting over it every 20 seconds. The sound work is effective as well. No voice acting, but plenty of realism and atmosphere in the sound choices. Bosses can also shout out terrifying sounds. Like, there's a reason that the Broodmother's shriek ends the game's trailer. It works. You can tell there's a Dark Souls influence, as reductive as that's become, but it sticks mainly with that in combat. Like Salt and Sanctuary, another Souls-inspired 2D platformer, your attacks are deliberate and slower than most games of this type, but they're not so deliberately clunky as you would see in most 3D Soulsborns. Unlike those games, there is no dropping items or experience when you die, but there's an arguably much harsher penalty incurred. If you haven't saved, then you've lost every bit of progress that you've gained from your last save. There's stamina usage, which is mostly generous, however running out changes the bar from blue to yellow, and once maxing out the bar in yellow, your character is stunned, which can be a complete death sentence in boss fights. I completed my first demo playthrough on hard, and I didn't find it all that difficult, though enemies can hit very powerfully and take down huge chunks of health. The only differences that I could see between hard mode playthroughs and my later easy mode playthrough was a lot less damage being taken from bosses, and a little more forgiving stamina system. Other demo elements included plenty of out-of-reach chests, every weapon that you could find within the demo was available from the very start, and a couple options for weapon upgrading. Character upgrades only allow you to spend one skill point per level, and choosing to upgrade the abilities of a various weapon, or your basic character abilities like health, defense, or stamina use. Weapon hitboxes tend to be a bit iffy at first, but the demo offered up a patch that fixed a glaring issue with a certain enemy, as well as a sword animation cancelling out the damage of the first swing if the second was pressed immediately after. It's impressive that the devs were on the ball enough to hotfix a demo, and that gives me hope that the game will iron out most of the glaring issues before launch in, well, I don't have a date yet, but I'm loving to see where this goes. I gave the game more than a few playthroughs before the demo ended, and I'd love to see how it shapes up, and where this very dark story is going. Hell, it had me interested enough to lose to the second boss just because I wanted to translate what its name was. I'm not giving a rating to a preview beta, of course, as we're not doing that on this particular version of the show, but let me know if you'd like me to check back with this title once we see a full release.